On Friday, The Hollywood Reporter published a massive cover story about the Blake Lively-Justin Baldoni legal battle. And they created a very eye-catching cover for this story that depicts Blake Lively essentially as David and Justin Baldoni as Goliath. And she is slingshotting what looks to be text screenshots at him while he holds a copy of It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. And in the background, you can kind of see the orange, hazy skies of the Hollywood Hills. There are butterflies everywhere. I believe that this was generated by AI, personally.
I only see 4 fingers on his hand.
Yeah, that I immediately clocked.
And the guy behind him.
But maybe it's a mix of both AI and human hands at play here.
Yeah.
But it says, Blake versus Baldoni, an exclusive look behind the battle lines of Hollywood's uncivil war. The piece by The Hollywood Reporter was taking a very interesting angle to this entire situation. And basically what they were saying is, what if this was all a big misunderstanding, guys?
Is that how it works?
Well, they basically said maybe everyone is right in a way, if you think about it. If
They're
you
taking my approach.
If you squint and tilt your head this way.
The problem is with stories like this, though, is that they become like large scale information dumps. So you kind of just hitch your ride to whichever horse you think is correct, and you're never gonna know all the information anyways, unless you're obsessively watching like the deep dives from the people who are covering it regularly. Yeah. Otherwise, everyone's just judging on vibes.
I think a huge amount of people are just following it based on Candace Owens reporting on it at this point. But what I want to focus on is just the reception of this illustration that they did, because a lot of people felt very offended by it, including Blake Lively herself.
Again, this is the picture. I'm just putting it up for everybody to be able to see.
Blake Lively felt deeply insulted by the depiction here, and she gave a statement to the Daily Mail about it. The Hollywood Reporter should be ashamed of itself. The framing in this picture is outrageously insulting as it plays into every sexist trope about women who dare to file a workplace complaint, turning them into the aggressor and suggesting that they deserve the retaliation that comes their way.
I've never heard any of the tropes around women in slingshots. Can somebody tell me what the tropes are about women in slingshots?
In addition, the story is extremely offensive as it incredibly seems to explain away documented examples of sexual harassment and retaliation by calling them cultural misunderstandings. And other people who were defending Blake Lively said the same thing. The audacity to turn this whole case into a joke is effing alarming. I stand with Blake because I believe her. I don't care if people say she's not a perfect victim or whatever bullshit. It doesn't matter. Predators should be punished. Another one said, something is deeply wrong with your publication that you thought this disgusting cover would even remotely be appropriate. This is disturbing.
Bro looks like he owns a puka shell necklace company.
Well, he acts like it too. And that was basically the focus of the Hollywood Reporter's piece here. So I had looked into this just on a surface level a few weeks ago. Justin Baldoni happens to be a follower of a very little known boutique religion called Baha'i.
Baha'i.
I don't know exactly who founded it, but they went into some of the core tenets of the religion and its history and how many followers it has worldwide. Very few, by the way. But there is a small contingent of Baha'i.
The hipster of religion.
Yeah, it's the most hipster religion ever. There is sort of like Scientology, but to a smaller scale. There is a small contingent of people who work in Hollywood that are followers of this Baha'i religion, and Justin Baldoni is one of them. So they kind of did a deep dive into ways that his religion could have influenced his interpersonal interactions on set and given people the wrong idea about who he is.
I mean, on the face of everything that I've learned about this dude, he seems too nice guy, accommodating to be a director. Like, most of the time when you hear about movie directors, they have to be kind of authoritarian. my way or the highway just
Yeah.
to get the project done. I just imagine that like maybe you hire him, but you don't hire him for something that's on like a fast timetable. Cause you're just like, we got to give Justin an extra month so they can ask everybody how they feel about it.
Right, exactly.
You know?
So what I was saying is that he approaches every professional and social situation with an incredible amount of deference, and he is willing to defer to the community consensus instead of his own.
Again, that's not really how
left-
movies are traditionally
Exactly.
made ever.
That's not how a movie is made. And the way that he approached It Ends With Us created this huge power vacuum that Blake Lively was all too happy to step into.
Yeah, she was like
given her track record.
She was like that amongst regular Hollywood directors
Right.
who are controlling and authoritarian. This one, she must have just been like, oh, I'm taking this thing over in no
It's
time.
like stealing candy from a
a
baby.
baby.
From a Baha'i
yeah.
follower. And I thought it was just because Justin Baldoni is a male feminist, but it turns out this could be a religious conflict.
Yeah.
There's another possibility, says the Hollywood Reporter, that has less to do with gender equality than it does with simple cultural misunderstanding. What if much of this, the alleged inappropriate hugging and pre-filming praying, could be explained as a clash between a very specific faith-driven community with its own unique mores and a much more modern post-Me Too one with its own set of beliefs and commandments?
What if, like, when they go, like, I don't know, but I'm guessing that when they go to film The Chosen, that they don't have mass beforehand?
I mean, who knows? Maybe they do. I know that it is a set on The Chosen mainly comprised of Christians and a huge amount of Catholics, and I'm sure prayer is a part of regular.
I wonder. Like, I just wonder
on
if this
set.
is the type of thing where, look, you don't want to be the bad guy. You're like, look, practice whatever you want, but we got shit to do.
Oh, for sure.
We are busy.
And that
We got a movie to make.
The faith-driven aspect of anything should not ever get in the way of just getting the work done.
I could see how, look, if you have a bunch of people coming together who all kind of coalesce around similar beliefs and ideas, that can make for a great creative environment. But the problem is like you said, it's a boutique belief system. So if he gets there and like the director of photography is like, yeah, I agree, but you know, second camera operator is just like, look, I don't know what this is. I'm working on a day rate here. Can we be done?
Right.
Can we go to work?
He's like, but like, let's focus on the oneness.
Oh.
So that's kind of the energy that Baldoni was bringing to the set. And I would have personally found it just infuriating.
Like I said, like I imagine that when this dude went to meetings with executives, they're just like,
No, that's exactly what happened. And I didn't even realize this when I learned about Baldoni's religion, that a good amount of the employees at his production company, Wayfarer Studios, are also Baha'i. And they approached this movie as some kind of passion project that was somehow related back to their beliefs.
So weird, isn't it? Do you think it's weird on its face that like somebody else's literary works would become like your defining passion project?
They said it became a rumor on the set of the movie that Colleen Hoover herself is Baha'i, which is not true.
Like I 100% can understand like if you wrote the movie and then got the ability to direct it and got all the funding, like that becomes like this large scale passion project that's somehow tied to your religious beliefs. But having it be about somebody else's work is just weird to me.
So this says that Baldoni was raised by two converts to the Baha'i religion. He has made no secret about his devotion to the Baha'i faith, which is based on notions of humanity, universalism, and gender equality. What's also clear from talking to people in Justin Baldoni's orbit is that he has a unique way of communicating, informed by the tenor of his religion. His mannerisms have come into conflict with Hollywood's current ethos in the wake of the Me Too movement, the Black Lives Matter movement, and the COVID pandemic, which introduced rigid, uniform, and policed ways of operating. And they're analyzing Justin Baldoni's interactions through the lens of this faith belief system that he holds. One source said, the Justin that I know isn't capable of doing things he's accused of because he truly sees himself as a feminist, but Blake clearly got grossed out, and this was the perfect storm of two opposing personalities. So they went on to say that Justin Baldoni and executives at Wayfarer Studios hold meetings where they often start by asking participants to go around and share something private or something that brings them joy that has nothing to do with their jobs.
Again, this is the feeling that you get. Like I've seen tweets about it, and I 100% agree. It's like there's nothing I hated more on the first day of school than it's like share something interesting about yourself.
Right.
I'd actually
What
rather
did you do
die.
over this summer?
I would actually rather die than share that. Fun fact.
And they say that these types of icebreakers might go over well with yoga instructors, but not agents and entertainment lawyers.
Well, yeah, they have a different approach to the
Studio
world.
executives in Hollywood who are not down with all this touchy-feely bullshit. And one of the anonymous sources told The Hollywood Reporter, she's a female executive at a production company who met with Wayfarer. In my head, I was like, I'm sorry, are we at Cafe Effing Gratitude? Why are you imposing your culture on this meeting that's being held at our offices? I can't explain exactly why, but it made me so uncomfortable. The billionaire benefactor of Wayfarer Studios, Steve Sarowitz, is also a member of the Baha'i religion and has talked about it extensively. He said, "We think we're one family. It's not like we need everyone to be Baha'i. We just want to spread the teachings of oneness."
I mean, how is that different than like those who spread the gospel?
The Baha'i religion is inherently different from the Christian religion.
No, I understand that. I'm saying, but like people get mad when you spread, when they feel like you're pushing Christianity on them or Catholicism on them if you try and, what's the word for that?
Well, I guess... what would that look like on the set of an inherently secular movie?
It just, I don't mean this
like on the set of The Chosen. That makes total sense.
Not to be meant in a mean way, but everything that it sounds like. And again, I still think that he's in the right here, and I think that she's kind of the examples of her being a controlling Hollywood mean girl are very, very compelling. But he comes across in this article and all of this stuff as like a character in a movie, like in a like an over
like,
the in
you mean
over
like
the
Nice
top.
Pool?
No. Like an over the top. He talks about yoga and he wears the puka shell necklace and he surfs and he talks about vibes.
Yes.
And in the movies, this character would be played as a joke, right?
That's how he played by Russell Brand.
Yeah.
Russell Brand is going to play Justin Baldoni in the
None
movie.
of that means that he should have had his life ruined by Blake Lively, but
no, but I cannot sit here and lie and say I don't feel where she's coming from. Okay, I do, and I sympathize, and I totally would have hated him too, and I would have at least toyed with the idea of destroying his life because he's just that annoying.
But you wouldn't have done it.
I wouldn't have done it.
It would have been very.
I wouldn't have pulled the trigger.
It would have been bad. I'd say it was unchristian of you, but that's not.
We have a 20 from Dr. Larcena. My brother is the CFO of The Chosen. More Christian culture than typical Hollywood, but not all involved are Christian. For instance, he once mentioned that one key star is a Jewish Israeli who's a reservist in the Israeli army. I know for a fact, like, pretty much everyone involved in The Chosen is either, like, evangelical, Catholic, or Jewish. But and maybe like sprinkled in, there's like one or two non-religious people who are involved just because it's a successful show.
That's what I mean. It's like look, you've got time for mass after we wrap for the day.
Let's get this take done.
Like if you want to be able to put money in the collection tray, we got work to do.
Oh, I love that. So there's a lot of ways to interpret Baha'i, but the central tenets include reconciling religious belief with science, strict equality among men and women.
Again, it feels like this religion was like literally just started in 2021.
It's 180 years old, so there are some aspects like that seem very modern. But then there are other
asked
tenets,
Ibram X. Kendi's
such as
opinion on this.
Premarital sex is forbidden in Baha'i, as well as consumption of alcohol.
Hollywood hates that.
Consumption of alcohol or drugs. And their main rituals include prayer, fasting, and meditation. So there are different, perhaps what seem to be conflicting tenets in the religion. And Baldoni is not afraid to inject elements of his religion on set, not just in It Ends With Us, but in things that he had done prior. They talked to anonymous sources that worked with him in the past, and they said he talks about his religion a lot.
What if he did that on Jane the Virgin?
I mean, probably, in all likelihood, yes. And especially when he directed an episode of Jane the Virgin. That must have been... They did a little kumbaya circle before they started filming.
I have no doubt. I wonder how long. I wonder how long into the series it was. From what I understand, like the actors on that show all got along very, very well. So at least the kumbaya stuff makes more sense when you've been working together for 5 years.
I've never worked with a male director so worried about everyone's emotional and mental well-being. There was an openness and emotionality to Justin Baldoni's style that was more typical of a woman. And it probably wouldn't be an issue if this was a female director, but because of the preconceived notions of gender, I guess people weren't really cool with his touchy-feely maternal vibes.
That's gonna signal, because despite what they tell you, Hollywood knows that, for example, male feminists tend to be a cloak for something much, much darker, right?
Yeah.
So he's signaling something much darker, but the way he is, but he actually seems to be a true believer. Maybe he's one of the rare ones that actually is everything that he says to be, but Hollywood isn't used to people being exactly who they say they are. They're used to you saying you are one thing as a cover for something much, much darker and more duplicitous.
Value in You said, Mary, have you seen the movie Prophecy, 1995? Interesting watch, while mostly over-the-top theater, but I love your take on the closing monologue about faith, heaven, the human experience. Well, if it's a musical theater production, I'm never going to watch it, but I have not. I'll look into it, though. Thank you for the recommend. Basically, that was the focus of the Hollywood Reporter's piece that I feel like people are glossing over. And it ended by saying that Blake Lively considers herself the spark that will ignite the next phase of the Me Too movement. Quote, Lively has shared with friends that she considers this a fight that's bigger than her, one likely to be remembered as the spark that ignited the next chapter of the Me Too movement.
It's amazing how somebody so self-important can act even more self-important, acknowledging her own level of self-importance.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.